to an all-new episode of Ball Brothers Bowling. I am Troy, and this is Keith.
Today we're here at Mockingbird Lanes once again, and there's a lot of open bowlers. There's a lot of loud music, so pardon the interruptions with the loud music, and hopefully we don't get a copyright ding, but we're going to keep pushing through.
That's right, we got this. Today we're going to go through a topic that we see a lot of comments on, a lot of people, talking, amongst league bowlers and all that, is muscle versus mechanics. Huge difference between the two, playing together really, really well.
Right, so we've done a lot of videos on the yo-yo release and other technique videos, as well as a lot of other YouTubers out there, and that is the most common question or most common comment that we get is, I don't have the strength to get my hand underneath the ball or keep my wrist cupped and to be able to do that with the ball. So
I wear a wrist brace. How can I do that yo-yo release when I have to wear the wrist brace?
yeah, so bottom line is, one of the things I tell everybody is if you're wearing a wrist brace, you can't do the cup to uncup, so you can't do that. If you're not super strong, you may have some limitations, but we're going to talk through that. So it does beg the question, what is more important, strength or the mechanics, the technique?
Yep.
And in my opinion, it's both. Both is ideal. You don't have to have both.
Right.
You can kind of cheat one way or another with each of those, but if you got both, if you're a strong person and you've got great technique, you're probably throwing 450 to 500 reps.
Absolutely.
Now, you can be a really big guy and have terrible technique, not have very many revs, but that's the kind of person, because you've got the strength, that if you watch the videos, you can work on that technique and have the ability to do that. Now, if you're on the other side of that and you're not as strong, you can develop some technique, but you might not be able to do the technique in its fullest. So, a prime example of this would be, take a look at the PWBA. So you look at people like Daria Payak and Verity Crawley and Jordan Snodgrass. They all have pretty good rev rates. On the women's tour, they're pretty high.
Absolutely.
But they're not 450 to 500 reps. So they're not the strong, they may not be as strong as some of the people you see on the PBA tour. So is accomplishing 380 reps enough? And I think that it should be. For a lot of you out there, that should be the goal you strive for. Look at me. I'm 5'7". I have skinny wrists. I'm not, yes, I've got some muscle tone to me, but I'm
5'9".
I might be strong for my size, but I'm not strong in comparison to a lot of other guys out there. And I'm also over 50. I have arthritis on my wrist. I have arthritis on my finger. And all of these things hinder me to some degree. That said, I have learned things with the technique that I bring to you that try to help me. And that's why I've been in the low 300s to mid 300s for a long time and working on a lot of these techniques. I've been getting it up over 300 or over 380, close to 400. Yep. And I normally, most of the videos that you watch me in my vlogs, I'm probably in the mid 300s, but I can pull out close to 4 if I need it. If the condition calls for more revs, I can do it because of the technique things I worked on. I'm not going to get to 450 reps. I'm not going to get to 500 reps because I've got some limitations.
Now with that attitude, you won't.
Right? So that's the thing that I urge each of you is to have realistic expectations for yourself. Know who you are. Are you somebody who has limitations because you wear a wrist brace, because you had surgery, because you've got arthritis or carpal tunnel? You're just a really small person. These are all things you have to consider for yourself. And so when we show these videos, if you're thinking you're going to get 450 to 500 revs, not to say that it can't happen, but realistically, we're trying to get you probably from the 200s up into the 300s and upper 300s. So now, if you think that you're too weak to even get to 300 revs, that's probably more of a technique issue than anything else. Going back to PWBA, right. Let's take a couple other examples. Erin McCarthy, somebody that we know personally. She's a very petite person. She's very, very thin. She's not a super strong person, but she's got great technique.
Fantastic.
Her technique is what allows her to have the rev rate that she has. It's not the biggest rev rate, but it is enough rev rate to be very dangerous on tour. She's a women's US Open champion.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to be a good house shot bowler, good in your leagues, that's all you need. You don't need 450 to 500 reps. So be comfortable with that. Another one, Jenna Williams. This girl, I had the pleasure of meeting her a couple times, and she has probably, in my opinion, the most beautiful swing. A lot of people love Daria Payak swing, which is great. Check out Jenna Williams. Jenna comes out of the ball beautifully. She's not a super uber strong person, but she's got impeccable technique. And you can see, if you watch in slow motion, she actually doesn't have a super cupped wrist. She's got a pretty flat wrist, but she uses her elbow to get under the ball a little bit, and then she straightens her elbow and comes around the ball just right to get the rev rate that she's got. So there are ways with technique for you to be able to get more revs, even if you're not super strong. So what if you are trying these things? You're trying to do these techniques we're showing you, but you're like, I can't do them, the ball's too heavy. Number one, the ball might be too heavy.
Ball might be too heavy.
You might need to go down to weight. There's no shame in going down.
I throw 14.
I throw 15, he throws 14, my friend Tony throws 14. If you gotta throw 13 or 12, go ahead and do that. You know, the weight blocks are gonna be different.
Yep.
Motive does a good job of having good weight blocks than some of their lighter balls, but if you get a better release on the ball, I mean, you just watched one of our prior videos where I was throwing a 9-pound ball, and yes, it was deflecting, but I was hitting the pocket pretty good with it. Oh yeah. This is a 15-pound alley ball. Thumb hole is gigantic. Does not fit me properly. Span's not very good, not even for a conventional grip. Okay, this does not fit. Now, I throw a 15-pound ball, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of tape kind of near the ring finger, all right? Because I want to be able to see what does it look like going down the lane, all right? So let's watch the ball. I'm going to try to throw this as normal as I can. My technique is going to be terrible though, because I have to squeeze the heck out of the ball just to hold on to it. So you saw it kind of rotating a little bit, but it wasn't super fast. That's probably about as much as I can get into it. I'll try to throw it one more time and see if I can get more into it. It's not going to be much. And I'm definitely not doing a proper yo-yo technique. So it's not terrible. I was really squeezing hard and muscling it, and it made up for some of that, but that's the max that I can get out of it. Now let me grab my 15-pound ball. All right, I'll put the piece of tape in the same spot. Now these lanes are kind of fried, so I'm going to try to play more in the oil, and it's don't worry about what the ball does down there as far as hitting a strike or whatever. Just pay attention to the revs compared to the ball I just threw. Because this ball fits me properly, perfectly snug thumb, okay? I can do this with the thumb like I've talked about in our thumb videos, nice and snug, but loose enough that I can easily let go of the ball, all right? Span is right, fits right, everything is good, all right? So let's see what I can do with this. Significantly more revolutions, okay? Not 450 revs. That might have been 370 or something. But the alley ball I threw, it was 270. Like, it wasn't very much. And that is all because of technique and what I'm able to do, because I've got proper fit. So a lot of you that think, oh, the ball is too heavy, this 15-pound ball feels so much heavier than my 15-pound ball because I have to squeeze it. It feels, there's so much space on the back of my thumb, it feels like it's just gonna slide off. So I'm doing everything I can. Cupping it is like, this is as much as I can cup it. I'm trying everything I can to cup it. This, because I got a nice snug thumb, cup that all day long, no problem. Ball feels so much lighter because it fits right. So if you're really struggling thinking the ball feels too heavy, you may have to go down to weight, but you may need to talk to your PSO and adjust the fit. Make sure you've got plenty of tape in there. Watch our thumb video where we talk about how to make sure you've got a snug enough thumb. You don't want to be bending here at the thumb, you want to hinge here at the thumb, because if you hinge here, you're going to end up squeezing. That's going to cause the ball to fit bad and you're going to have bad technique. Now, on the strength side of it, if I was stronger, this is the 9-pound ball, okay? Now, obviously I would not normally throw a 9-pound ball, but if my strength to weight ratio, if my strength to a 9-pound weight ratio was the same at the 15, so I was stronger, so the 15-pound ball felt like this 9-pound ball feels, I'd be able to get similar revs. Now this is conventional grip, and it's plastic and there's no weight block in it, so don't worry about how much it hooks, don't worry about any of that. But again, we're going to watch the revolutions on it, and even with it not being fingertip, watch the kind of revs that I can get on a ball like this. Totally effortless because I have more strength. I'm able to actually do what I need to do with getting the cup and releasing it really quickly. So does strength matter? Absolutely, as you saw with that. Does fit and technique matter? Absolutely, as you saw with that compared to that.
So as you can see, strength matters, technique matters. They both do. But it's not necessary to have both. You can have one, you can have the other, and work towards developing the other.
Yes, if you've got neither, you're going to be 200 reps. If you've got if you've got strength, but you've got terrible technique, you're going to have 200 reps.
Right.
If you've got strength and you've got okay technique, you might get to 300 and some reps. If you've got not a lot of strength but great technique, you should be able to get to 300 and some reps.
Right.
And then if you've got strength and technique, that's when you get into the 450, 500 reps.
Let's talk about, real quick, what just having strength does.
Okay.
Right? Just having strength, right? You can take, you might be a big 312-pound guy who has a ball that fits well, but if you don't have technique, you're going to look like this. Great to throw the ball 26 miles an hour, or you don't have the technique, difference is made.
Yeah.
Because this is that same 10-pound ball, and just having a decent technique, all the difference in the world.
Now, most of you that talk about how you're not strong enough to get under the ball are probably not bowling a lot of tournaments, would be my guess. I could be wrong in some cases, but I'm guessing most of you are league bowlers. If you're a league bowler, I implore you to be okay with not revving the crap out of the ball, all right?
Not necessary.
I bowl in the senior circuit, and a lot of those guys, they're down and in strokers, and they will kill it all day long. We did the video on emulating other bowlers.
Yeah.
We love the Marshall Holman release. Yep. Marshall Holman, smooth stroker down and in. That is all about, when people talk about, I don't have the strength to get under it, that's okay. Okay, now what you need to focus on is getting your hand, instead of being behind the ball, suitcasing the ball, you want to be at kind of a 45-degree angle, somewhere in that range, and straight through, and you want to make sure still that you've got a good fitting thumb, because you want to release the thumb first, let it go off the thumb, and then the finger second. Because if you're squeezing it with a bad fit, then you're most likely letting go all at the same time. It's very hard to squeeze it and go thumb first, finger second. So you're most likely doing that, which is causing the ball to hydroplane down there. So this is an example. I'm going to squeeze this ball and throw a sort of a suitcase squeeze shot, and you can see what that'll do. So it went down and it kind of hooked a little bit, as you saw as it got to the dry, but there's no control on that whatsoever. It hydroplaned for the first little bit. So that's not even really a stroker shot. That's really squeezing it. But now I will show you a stroker shot. Now I'm going to properly grip the thumb. I'm going to not hinge here. I'm going to hinge here. I'm going to grab it the way I'm supposed to, but instead of doing the yo-yo, I'm just going to keep my hand sort of at that 45-degree angle, make sure it exits the thumb first. can probably average really good in league. I may maybe not 230, but I can probably average 220 in league doing that. Now, once I get to score shot tournaments, that's probably not going to work, and that's why I need more revs on the ball to be able to hit certain kinds of patterns. But if you are a league shot bowler, be okay with that, embrace that. Don't focus so much on the yo-yo. Focus on this if you don't have the strength. If you've got the strength, work on the yo-yo. It's fine. That's great for house shots too. But if you can't do it, that's fine. Work with what you got.
There it is. That's it. That's our lesson for the day.
Yeah. So if you guys got questions, comments, leave them down below.
Absolutely.
Hit like, share, and subscribe as always. But hopefully you guys found some benefit in this video. We'll probably do some more specific tutorials on the different types of releases, like doing that 45-degree release. We'll spend more time on it, but we wanted to throw this one out there just to let you all know, since it's a common question, that
Very common.
strength is important, technique is importanter.
More important, sir. It'll make you a more better bowler.
Exactly. It's more gooder. All right. So with that said, we'll see you guys in the next video.
Mockingbird, thank you.